Tapas Fleming here, TATLife.com. Today I'm going to read to you from a session I had that I think you'll just enjoy hearing the transformation and get some things out of it for yourself, which we'll talk about after. So this client said, I'm always seeming to find a man to fall in love with who's unavailable. And the angst I put myself through happens. There's a guy I've been working with for 2.5 years. He's been mourning his wife for 7 years. That longing and angst create part of the loneliness for me. When I start to feel sad, I feel sick. I've done this several times with men. I was thinking to myself, just send that guy to me. I'll do some TAT with him. Okay. I didn't mention that to her though. Okay, so she said, so we did some TAT and she said, everybody, meaning all the parts within, she said, everybody was really sitting up and paying attention. Felt like these little beings went bing. I'd like to put into the pot the desire and the ability to have a happy, mutual, fun, loving relationship. So we did some more TAT, and she said, such a big shift from protecting myself by pushing love away, and realized all the men in my life have been nice and I pushed them away. What felt safe was finding somebody who would not love me. It's really painful and it's lonely. I feel it in the pit of my stomach. So we included talking to that feeling in the pit of her stomach. So I want you to know that. So if you notice these kind of things, which are really typical, you add them into your TAT work. You don't just notice it, but make the intent, yeah, this is part of who I'm talking to when I talk to the parts of myself and who's going to be healed here. So we did some TAT talking to that pit in her stomach, and she said, it's not there anymore. Then she brought up her relationship to food. Eating food that isn't good for me, that doesn't digest well, not taking good enough care of myself with food. So we did some more TAT. She said she noticed everything felt really good till I noticed this little black thing in my stomach. She said everything else, every other part was fine. But this part, she said, nothing was penetrating. It just stayed. And so we did a little more TAT, steps of TAT, and she said she heard from that part, I don't want to change. I don't want to soften. I don't want to let this in, meaning the TAT stuff we were doing. I don't want it to get better. So we talked to that part and said, just want to let you know I heard everything you said. It just brings tears to read it again, but she said, this part said, this is the first time anyone's ever listened to me. So we did some more TAT, and my client said, it feels really good. And then she said, as soon as that part was heard, I could see me as a 2-year-old, and I could feel how I twisted and made that core something that could hold me together. She told me she was abused as a child, a little child. Just the recognition of the part flowered and it became part of me. At the end, when I was trying to find the part, all that was happening was this spreading, unified purple field. I didn't even know she was stuck there all the time. I just knew that things weren't quite right sometimes. She said there's no part left there. So I often cry during sessions and after, just talking to you about it. It's so moving. She said to me, my client said, I'm nearly 70 and I never even knew this was there. So in retrospect, the way she was closed off and not allowing connection from people who were really nice to reach her, and the trouble she had with food, and this dark part in the stomach, and this 2-year-old portion of her that she created in herself, twisting to have a place to be, to hold things together in herself when she was 2, were all part of the same thing. But there's no way to know that. When you're doing TAT, you just have to go with it and allow whatever shows up to happen, throw it into the pot and keep going. Things resolve in ways you could never imagine. And it's so beautiful. So, thank you for listening, and see you next time.